Welcome to the Bullion Breakdown. We are taking a look at CBDCs in Canada. I know there's been a lot of content from one of the great channels out there, 365 Days of Silver. He's in the UK and he's done just an amazing job at covering CBDC news and information from his perspective. I'm certainly no expert in this. I'm learning myself, obviously just a stacker here, but thought it was interesting to highlight here what the Bank of Canada has actually released in Canada as it relates to CBDC and how it's going to be implemented here in Canada. Right now, obviously, they're pitching it as exploratory, but they do have a video here that explains sort of what it is from a very top level perspective and how it can support the transition into a digital currency. But I think it shows the hand quite well here of the Canadian government in what we are going to do here in this country as it relates to the transition from fiat into digital. I have no other information at this time, and this update here is about 3 to 4 weeks old. So the government is, again, just communicating that there is change coming and that these are the benefits. We can all argue what is what as far as what the next step should be, but this is a good example of what one government is doing as it relates to communication to its citizens. So I'll just go ahead and play this promotional video. It's about a minute and a half, and this is what's going on as it relates to CBDC in Canada.
How Canadians pay for everyday things is changing. Some are using less cash in favor of other payment methods. To keep up with the changing ways that people pay, the Bank of Canada is exploring a digital Canadian dollar, also known as a central bank digital currency. Simply put, this would be a digital version of cash, but it wouldn't replace cash. It would have the same dollar value, and it would be accessible to anyone and everyone. You could use this digital Canadian dollar to buy everyday things, just like you use cash or a bank card, but it would be different. Unlike cash, you wouldn't need to carry multiple bills or change. Like a bank card, it would work for both in-person and online purchases. Similar to banknotes, it could possibly still be used when the internet is not available. Just like the cash in your wallet, it wouldn't earn interest. But it would be secure and private. You could keep your digital dollars securely on a phone, a card, or another device. At this point, at the Bank of Canada, we're still studying the possibility of issuing a digital Canadian dollar and how it might work. Tell us what you think about a digital Canadian dollar by taking part in our public consultation.
You can see it's a very real thing here in Canada. I mean, that was released 4 weeks ago here by the actual Bank of Canada. So it is, it's absolutely a real deal thing. They've been working on a study with MIT University for quite some time, and then this is kind of phase 2 that I'm seeing. And again, I'm catching stuff publicly. I'm not digging at this point, but I am starting to get really interested because it seems like they're close, and they're maybe closer than some of the other countries out there. I'm not sure really, and I definitely am preparing myself for the eventual shift there, because that's ultimately what I think precious metals will do well in that type of an environment. So yeah, this is exciting information, and it's just really interesting to see how easy the government is just sort of sliding this one in, and how it's not really well received here. I mean, there's no real dialogue or press, and no media is talking about any of this. So I'm not sure, and maybe you guys could comment in below here, but in your country or in your region of the world, what is going on from a communication standpoint? Like, are your governments talking about this? I know in the US, the Fed now is launched, and that's kind of an early tell into what will be an eventual digital dollar in the States. I have watched, obviously, that content, like I mentioned, on 365's channel. So I have a basic understanding of what's going on in the UK. But it'd be awesome to hear any thoughts or anybody's information on this. And if you're Canadian, please by all means contribute to the video as well. But this has been Bullion Breakdown, guys. I appreciate you taking the time to watch the channel. If you want, I'm just showing here, there's lots of good content. Feel free to engage the channel. There's shorts, there's long form video, and all that good stuff. Hit like, subscribe. Really appreciate it, again, sticking this long in the video. And last but not least, guys, stay awesome.